I have private security because my body is worth being on this planet right now. I have private security because the white supremacist, racist narrative that they drive into this country, the fact that they don't care that this black woman that has put her life on the line, they can't match my energy, first of all.
Welcome to yet another episode of being dumb as fuck while being black and racist. And when I say dumb as fuck, boy do I mean it. Don't believe this deserves the harsh language, do you? Well, take another look.
This black woman who puts her life on the line, they don't care that I could be taken out of here. They actually probably are okay with that. But this is the thing. I won't let them get that off. You can't get that off. I'm going to make sure I have security because I know I have had attempts on my life and I have too much work to do. There are too many people that need help right now for me to allow that. So if I end up spending $200,000, if I spend $10 more on it, you know what? I get to be here to do the work. So suck it up, and defunding the police has to happen. We need to defund the police and put that money into social safety nets because we're trying to save lives. What other occupation can do work that's out of their scope and still be propped up to do work that's out of their scope?
Speaking of, quote, out of their scope, thank you so much, St. Louis, for sending us your very best. This is who we need to send to Ukraine, folks, for sure. She'll straighten everything right out. I'm most positive of that. Out of their scope. Good heavens. Okay, so Representative Cori Bush of Missouri, or to be more specific, the Killing Fields of St. Louis, is one of my absolute favorite Democrats. I mean, come on. This mentally challenged monstrosity is absolutely fascinating. She's probably got the testosterone levels of a professional football player. As my grandfather used to say, she looks like she could hunt grizzly bear with a toothpick. And ironically, this entire article and story is about the security services that she spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on. All the while, she could easily beat the hell out of at least 3/4 of the male population in the United States. There's really no nice way to say it. This woman is a damn monster. Anyways, let's get serious. Needless to say, she has been purposefully stirring up shit pretty much since the day she was sworn into office over her idiotic behavior whenever left to her own devices in public, and especially if she gets near a microphone. Alright, just one more, and I apologize. It's just that this woman falls into so many categories of complete and utter frustration for me. And boy, when she gets started on the defund the police stuff, it's straight up Looney Tunes. In a nutshell, she's the mouthy, ugly, obese, low IQ black baby factory at the ghetto barbecue in every stereotypical 90s black gangster flick. Okay, I feel much, much better. I hope you do too. I would honestly rather listen to Fetterman explain to me how things should really work than this moron. Okay, so unlike some of the vastly more intelligent Democrats, and I do not say that lightly, special circumstances apply with this woman, whose version of defund the police means a relocation of a certain percentage of their normal funding, or some such bullshit. Bush literally believes in defunding the police, like 100%, and abolishing private prisons along with it. We're talking full-on Mad Max or Escape from LA. Absolute brilliance by this one. She's a genuine thought dynamo, one of the world's greatest thinkers she is. Eat your heart out, Victor Davis Hanson. Oh, and not for nothing, but I really want her to sit down and in detail explain how aliens are racist. Anyways, Bush, though in the pattern of squad members, has repeatedly been called out for shady hypocritical stuff like paying for private security using hundreds of thousands of dollars in campaign funds to do so even as she advocates for starving off police funding that would make communities, including the ones she claims to want to protect, the communities of color, more vulnerable to violent crimes, of course. One of her first and most famous idiotic tangents, on film anyways, happened in August of 2021. You saw part of it in the intro. She utterly embarrassed herself, well, if that's even possible, and at least caused headaches for members of her party, when she said during an interview that she really didn't even care if it made her look like a hypocrite. Here's more of the clip.
As a nurse, I can't be the surgeon too. You don't want me being your surgeon and I'm the nurse. At what point do we pay police to be social workers? No, we don't. How do they get to be social workers? So what I'm saying is, you do your job. Let the people who have gone to school with a particular skill set do theirs. Neither defunding the police and being able to have security because those same folks are causing it. It's two totally different things. And and this is my last point on this. If I have actual police officers who have threatened my life, tell me about that. Tell me that I don't need security. And let me just say this last thing. My security is not against communal violence. My security is not to keep me safe from the people of St. Louis. My security is to keep me safe from those racist attempts made against my life. Now, if you want to do something about that, stand up and do something about that. I didn't see any of those people that have come against me with this negativity, with these lies, with these smears, stand up when they saw the N-word, when they saw me post stuff about me being hung, the threats on my life, hanging me and burning me, frying me and my family like bacon. They didn't say anything about that. And that was just a piece of what I receive all the time. But you know what? I take that and I walk with my head up and my shoulders back, because I know I'm doing the work for the people. I'm on the right side of history. And if they want, they can come and meet me to my face. You come and stand on these steps and fight for the people this way. You show up and fight for the people the way that I have. You put your body on the line the way that I put my body on the line. And until you can do that, I suggest you take several seats.
Okay, so now that all that nonsense is concluded, she needed security about as much as Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson does. I digress. Bush was getting another perk out of her private security officers, as we learned Sunday when it was reported that she married one of them earlier this month in St. Louis in what would be described as a private ceremony, as KSDK Channel 5, a local news station, reported. Quote, Bush got hitched in a private ceremony in St. Louis last weekend, according to sources. Marriage records filed with the St. Louis Recorder of Deeds show Bush signed her marriage license in a pact with Courtney Merritt's on February 11th, a few days before their wedding. Merritt's, a veteran of the United States Army, has worked for Bush's campaign as a hired security guard. Campaign finance records show the Bush campaign has paid him $62,359 in direct payments in 2022. Most of the payments were listed for security services, while 2,359 of them were for cash reimbursements. Merritt's social media posts show he traveled with Bush on her trips to her first inauguration in January of 2021 to the Ed Sullivan Theater for her appearance on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and to Central America on a trip with a congressional delegation. The first direct campaign payments to Merritt's were reported in 2022 after their relationship began, unquote. Even at first glance, the situation seems suspicious. Imagine that, coming from the squad. Was this really just a serendipitous example of workplace love? Or was Bush using the relationship as a way to funnel money back to herself? Excuse me. Well, folks, that question just got a hell of a lot more complicated, because Fox News is reporting that Merritt's doesn't even have a security license in Bush's district. Kind of a big deal in a security business. Well, unless you're a corrupt Democrat from the hood finding a way to wash campaign money through a side piece, of course. Fox News reports, quote, Merritt, however, pocketed the security money despite not having a St. Louis private security license, which is needed to perform security functions in the area, Fox News Digital has discovered. Merritt's also received the campaign's cash as it simultaneously paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to a St. Louis security firm and another individual for personal protection. Fox News Digital filed a public records request with the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department on Monday morning seeking information regarding Merritt's private security license. In response, a Sunshine Law administrator said that there are, quote, no responsive records, unquote, relative to the request and merits does not have a current license, unquote. Well, not having a license, that's a problem because having a security license is required in Missouri to offer security services, and you would assume merits would be present with her in her district, especially given their personal relationship. Further, as the report notes, Bush's campaign shelled out hundreds of thousands of dollars in other payments to real security firms at the same damn time. That seems like a rather odd dynamic, does it not? The situation is reminiscent of Ilhan Omar paying over $1 million to her now husband's consulting firm, is it not? More of that of color privilege, right? The two had an alleged affair, destroying at least one family, kind of the other. I mean, that was some brother-sister stuff over there on her side, prior to their marriage and making things official, presumably, and conveniently gave Omar access to the campaign funds that were paid out. Isn't that interesting? So yeah, Bush paying a non-security guard for security services before marrying him is almost a damned carbon copy of the same scheme, is it not? Well, before we finish things out here, I do feel the need to point out that at least Bush's new unlicensed rent-a-beau is actually of color. That's right, he's a black gentleman. That should make her white, guilt-ridden, suburban housewife voters feel a little bit better, or at least not quite so confused when she's ranting and raving at the top of her lungs about racism being around every corner and under every rock. Just saying. Because, to be very clear, this is unlike AOC and Omar, who both got with soft-handed soy boy whiteys, looking like total idiotic hypocrites, to say the least. Not that they really give a shit. Anyways, what makes Bush's spending spree look even worse, though, is that there seems to be little justification for the over $500,000 she spent on security during the 2022 election. By comparison, unlike Cori Bush, the powerlifter, little bitty Ilhan Omar spent just $65,000. There is no world in which Bush actually needs $500,000 in security a year. Something is way off here. So in closing, maybe I've got this all wrong and this is all just an innocent happenstance. Besides, it won't matter anyway. If Omar's corrupt dealings didn't elicit any investigation from the FEC, there's no damned reason to think things would be different with Bush. Because apparently they have perfected this formula. It looks like a far-left grievance hustler of color in Congress provides very special protections from federal law. Once again, thank you, St. Louis. As the great Chris Plant says, every day is an IQ test when you're a Democrat. Sorry about the lack of content over the last few days, folks. I've been traveling a bit. Hopefully that will conclude over the next couple of days. Well, all of this came by way of the current clown world we live in. If you liked it, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Leave a comment down below. There's a PayPal link in the description box, so please put $1 in the bucket on the way out the door. I'd like to thank everyone for all your donations. They're much needed and much appreciated. Now, with all that being said, we'll see you next time.
All right. Come on, move. Move. Easy, easy.